What's up, everyone? Coco Mojo here, and today is Vault Day in North America. So I figured I would go through my tunes and show you what I'm getting in my vaults and maybe how I make decisions about what items I'm getting. It's going to depend on what we get today, but let's take a look. I just had a bunch of people visiting and I've been doing a bunch of traveling, so the last few weeks have been really busy and I've unfortunately had to neglect YouTube for a while. But I'm looking forward to getting back into a rhythm and starting to make some more content. So I just made this guy like on Friday, I think, last Friday, and he's still kind of scuffed. I mean, I bought a bunch of 226 items with anima from that vendor in New Corthia in Zereth Mortis, and got just like whatever cheap legendaries I could find. A bunch of items from Zereth Mortis, actually. I think I got a bunch of 233 items. I bought this from the auction house. So he's like starting to come along pretty well. I spent a bunch of time farming Cosmic Flux on him, actually. I think I spent like probably 4 hours over the weekend farming Cosmic Flux and now have enough to make a full tier set. So I made the two-piece because that's all I have items for at the moment. And it's the only thing that actually changes the rotation for Survival Hunter. So when I'm looking at this guy, I'm thinking I really want either like another tier slot item, so that way I'm one step closer to getting 4-piece, or a weapon would be really cool. Maybe a trinket. I don't even know what would be good on this guy. Probably that anima battery. That'd be actually a really sick trinket. This guy scales insanely well with haste, so I think that would be pretty cool. But let's see what we get. And I actually had a friend boost me through a 15, and then ran a bunch of like 10s and 12s and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much only going to get. Ooh, let's see here. So this item is pretty nice. This chest is going to make... So, like, at this point, we've got the 233 chest, and that is not great. I can't upgrade it. The 278 chest would make for... Right, that's going to be an amazing tier piece. I'm probably just going to take that, because I have a 252 weapon, and I could get this up to... I could get this up to 272 if I really wanted to dump Valor into it. Oh, and one of the other changes that happened this week is Valor is no longer capped. You can earn as much Valor as you want and spend it, and that's pretty great. I think, given that I can just farm as much Valor as I want to get this to 272, like before I would be worried that I would spend Valor on this, and first of all, it's going to be really expensive. It would be 6,000 Valor to upgrade this to 272. It's 1,000 Valor per level. I probably won't do that anyway. I'll probably wait until I get a 262 item and then upgrade it 3 times if that's what I'm going to end up using for a weapon. But either way, that's like a totally plausible way to get a higher item level weapon. But getting a 278 chest, that's like a huge stat budget piece, and it's going to be another tier piece. I think I'm just going to go with this. These 2 other items are like not that exciting. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. Easy choice. We get a key. We get a 15 because we got boosted. Tyrannical, Inspiring, Quaking. I'll talk about the affixes later and what I think about Mythic Plus for this week. But first impressions are probably won't be too bad of a week. Let's do the Druid next. Yeah, my Druid, I've been mostly doing weekly keys on the Druid, honestly. I haven't had a ton of time to play, so it's tough to get into push groups. Also, my friend that was tanking with me last season, he's been playing DPS, and so I'd have to be pugging tanks, and pugging tanks in keys that are difficult for you is not the most fun. So my Druid has been mostly doing weekly keys or both as a bear and as resto. I actually have another friend who started playing resto shaman, and he's kind of just starting to kind of get into Mythic Plus now, and so being able to tank for him has been really valuable and kind of give him some tips on what to look out for as a healer and so on. What do we have here? Pet battles. I'm probably not going to do that. So let's take a look at the Druid's gear. I've got some actually pretty good gear on this guy. His item level is, let me swap to resto. We'll take a look at the resto gear because my bear gear is like kind of scuffed and I don't really care about it. I really care about gearing up as resto. So we got this basically, 4-piece tier. I think one piece was upgraded with Valor, and the other pieces are from the vault, either converted via the catalyst, or I actually got a couple of tier pieces that just dropped. It was kind of amazing. Some okay neck. Okay, these are old bracers. What I would really like to see actually is really bracers or a weapon. A weapon would be the best. At this point, let's see how much flux I have. I could upgrade this all the way. I had been kind of hoarding my my Valor rather, because there's a cap and I was kind of worried about spending it all. But now I should just drop all my Valor into this week if I'm not going to be able to get a weapon out of the vault. But a weapon would be sick. Nude neck would be okay. Pants would be great. I would take any of those. Bracers, honestly, at this point. Anything to upgrade my lower item level pieces would be cool. Ooh. Huh. Now this gives me a choice. I could take this belt and then recraft my legendary on my bracers. That would give me one extra socket. Actually, no, that would give me the same number of sockets I have now, but I would have a huge item level upgrade over the bracers that I have currently. The other choice is this ring, which is it actually would do nothing for me on resto, unless I recrafted my legendary to bracers. Actually, can I do bracers for this Circle of Life and Death? I don't think so. This would be more helpful for bear, I think, because I have like a 246 ring for the bear. But I think I'm going to continue to optimize for resto and get this belt and then recraft my unity. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, let's get it. And I should get I get a 20 key this week on the Druid. I did end up making my way into a 21 key, and we missed the timer by like 30 seconds. It was a little tragic. But 20 spires, that actually is a pretty good key, I think. I think that'll be pretty easy. The inspiring actually might make that difficult, but we will see. Now for my rogue. This is the tune that I play with that group, and so most of actually pretty much all of my highest keys are done on this tune, just because I have a group of players to play with. One of them is a healer, so I pretty much never get to play my Druid with that group, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. The rogue is a ton of fun and actually ends up scratching that same itch that healer does in terms of support, so no real complaints there. And my rogue's gear is looking pretty good. I still have 272 rings, but both of them have speed, so I'm actually going to hold on to these for as long as I can. It is really fun being speedy. 262 bracers, and again, now that we're no longer restricted with a Valor cap. I'll probably upgrade these as soon as I can. I've been kind of sitting on Valor for for a while. I also have in my bags this helmet with a socket and avoidance that I've upgraded once, and I was planning on upgrading 2 more times this week. So this will be my helmet once I can get that to 272, because right now I've got the same thing just with no avoidance and no socket. And this one simmed a little bit higher, and I didn't feel like I needed the avoidance this week, this past week, so I didn't make the swap. But this week I will swap to this this new helmet. Then what else could we use? Honestly, what I would like most is a weapon. A weapon would be great. The other thing is I ran 2 heroic bosses this week, and so I'll have 1 slot from the raid, and a cash trinket would be just amazing, because you know, this, well, the cash just scales out of control with Sub Rogue. All the crit and verse that Sub Rogue runs makes cash do a ton of damage in AoE. It's so good. My current on use is this Grim Codex, which is, it's fine. It's not too bad. We have a bunch of things that modify shadow damage, so this ends up doing a decent amount of damage. And then this ooze, which is okay. It's just like the only non-unused trinket that I've had drop that deals a decent amount of damage and sims fairly well. It's not my favorite, but it's also not awful. So cash or weapon is what I'm hoping for, but I would also take bracers. Let's see what we get. Wow. Wow. Huh. Okay. Okay, alright. Well, I mean, just for posterity, let's take a look. Do we get anything from these? No, we don't. Okay. Alright, easy choice. That's, okay. Alright, cool. Sweet. That's, feels good. No complaints there. I'm gonna have to learn how to use this thing, but I'm kind of pumped. That's a super cool trinket. This actually is gonna be a huge boost to my overall. Let's go. All right. I had a plan to show you how I sim changes, and I don't really have anything to compare to. I maybe should have done that before before just picking this, just to show kind of what it looks like. But what I'll do is I'll just sim what I have here, and we'll compare, say, my Grim Codex to this in Dungeon Slice. Okay. So this is what I do. I go to raid bots, and I will paste the SimC add-on input into here. And then what I'm going to do is go here and do cache of acquired treasures. And let's replace the pustule. And it's going to be at, what was it, 265 item level? I don't remember, what was it? 265 item level. And so what we've got here is, you know, the input from SimC. This is going to show us all of the gear that we currently have, all of our soulbinds and conduits, talents, everything like that comes from the game. That's just an add-on. You type /SimC into chat, and it gives you this, and you can just copy it. And so we're just pasting that in here. And then here we have a gear set, and we're just adding an item, and you can pick, once it determines what item type it is, then, you know, it's a trinket, so we can pick what socket we want, or what slot we want this to go into. But let's say we were also, you know, adding in Edge of Night, the sweet Sylvanas dagger, in the offhand, and that was at you know, whatever, it doesn't matter, you know, anything like that. So this would be one item set with 2 items replaced. So But let's just compare. If I were to replace my ooze with this cache, what does that look like? Now you could just run this right here immediately on raid bots, but you have to wait in line unless you're a premium member. So what I do is I copy the input and I download the nightly build of Simulation Craft. You can do that at simulationcraft.org. And I just go in here to downloads and nightly builds. And if you're on Windows, you'll pick one of these 7-zip files. If you're on a Mac, you can pick a disk image file. And you'll just unpack that and you'll get an executable. And you can just run that and you get this kind of UI. So I'll go into simulate. I'm going to paste in the input that I copied from RaidBots. And I'm going to click simulate. And then this is going to take a little while to run. It has to run through 2 separate simulations in this case, one for my current gear. Oh, the other thing, let me actually cancel this and make sure that I have this set to, let's see, let's switch this to Dungeon Slice. I'm mostly interested in Dungeon Slice in this case. I will simulate both Dungeon Slice and single target often, but let me just check options and overrides here. Sometimes I have to swap it here as well. The settings from RaidBots don't always come over into to the desktop client. But while this is running, let's talk about the affixes for the week. My PC is going to be kind of laggy, so bear with me if I drop frames. But what do we have? We have Tyrannical, Inspiring, Quaking, Encrypted. Okay, so for Tyrannical, I mean, for a while now, Tyrannical has felt pretty good, honestly. They've nerfed it at least once that I can remember, maybe twice. Then we also have that kind of shuffling of affixes where now we have some now we have some much easier affixes on Tyrannical weeks, and usually the harder affixes are put onto the fortified weeks. So I think in general, Tyrannical weeks have felt pretty good. They've been pretty fast, and I think this one will also be fairly fast. So Inspiring is going to be the biggest problem, right? There's going to be some packs where you actually have to CC the Inspired mob and fight it separately. So it's going to slow you down. It will definitely be a slower week than usual. I don't know how it's going to compare to last week, the Necrotic week. Necrotic is usually pretty fast. Like, it's not too bad. But then there's just some pulls where the tank has just so much pressure put on them. And so they end up kiting, and that inevitably lowers DPS, right? The other problem is, so at least on my team, we run 2 melee, and when Spiteful started spawning, oftentimes we would have to get out of melee, right? If you're targeted, and usually I'd be looking to kidney shot whatever Spitefuls are targeting melee players and see if we can get a little more uptime, but we definitely lost some time just due to Spiteful. So I think this week, with Inspiring adding a little bit of extra time to some polls, that's going to be, it's definitely going to be a slightly slow week. It's not the end of the world. I think it's an average week, maybe a little worse than average in terms of pushing. I mean, that being said, like, you're going to watch your favorite streamers do like 25, 26, 27 keys this week. So it's fine. Like, I feel like a lot of the community perception is that a non-push week is just like not good to play. It's just like not possible to do keys, and that's just not true. What is sometimes true is that it's less fun to do keys, which is kind of unfortunate. I wish that weren't the case. There should never be a week that is less fun than other weeks. But that is the case. I think this week will be one of those slightly less fun weeks, unfortunately. because inspiring means that you can't take the same risks that you would normally take, and one of the things that makes Mythic Plus exciting is taking risks and kind of trying to take advantage of those risks to finish the key in time. But let's take a quick look at our simulation. We are halfway done with what I assume is the second simulation. Honestly, so this desktop client will do pretty much everything that RaidBots will do. The one thing that I don't do on this client is which one is it? Top Gear, I think it. No, not Top Gear. Where is it? Maybe it is Top Gear, actually. Let me just paste in the, I need to paste in the SimC input. Is it Top Gear? Yeah, Top Gear. So this right here, you know, if you have a bunch of items in your bags and you're trying to decide which ones to use, Top Gear is the way to go. The problem is, like right now, there's only one combination. But as soon as we add this in, now we've got two combinations. But what if we wanted to, you know, adjust the gems or anything along those lines? Like if we find the prismatic gems, we're like, let's try crit mastery or verse gems. Then that's going to increase the number of combinations. We could do replace existing gems and enchants, and now we're up to 25 combinations just from this right here, because this is going to look at all the gems and all of the items, and we've added a couple of items, and so this is starting to take a while. We're already at roughly a third of our allotted iterations, so this can take quite a long time. But that being said, it's much faster to do it on RaidBots than to do it locally. Locally, your PC will be running, you know, one simulation at a time, and it's going to run all of the iterations in parallel, but it's still very expensive. Like, we just ran 2 simulations on this PC, and nice. Okay, so this is showing it's a slight DPS gain. I think that this, though, is vastly underestimating the gain from this trinket, because I'm pretty sure that SimC is going to be casting the trinket on cooldown. The problem is, a third of the time, the trinket is useless to Venthyr Subrogues. It's really only good when we have the axe up, and it's an AoE. I guess using the axe in single target is fine as well for Venthyr Subrogue, but the sword is literally useless, and the wand is only really good for Kyrian Subrogue. For Venthyr Subrogue, according to the nerds in the Rogue Discord, we really only want to be using the axe for everything. So I think this is underestimating the value of this trinket for Dungeon Slice, but that's okay. We know how good it is just from seeing other rogues on Twitch use this trinket, so I'm pretty pumped. This is a good reset day. Well, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts about other kinds of content you want to see. We just hit 1,500 subscribers, so thank you so much for the support. And if you're not already subbed, please consider doing so. It really helps me out, helps me grow on YouTube. Yeah, I appreciate you watching. Take care and good luck out there.